Good afternoon to everyone in attendance. I'm Jim Galvin, the Executive Director of the Valdosta County Airport Authority. A couple things that I'd like to bring to your attention, actually three things, and I'll be brief. The first is on the federal level. Heretofore, the FAA grant money, which is the money that funds the projects at the airport, was at 95% level, and we got 2.5% from the state and 2.5% from local funding sources. This fiscal year, federal fiscal year, that started in October of 2012, the FAA amount went to 90%. Which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but we're probably a $2 million project, and that's a considerable amount of money. And then the state's funding stayed at 2.5%. So effectively what it did was triple our local contribution. We have written letters to our local state delegation, both on the House and the Senate side, letting them know about this and seeking support for funding the state at the 5% level in order to try to get it back to 2.5% local. This year, Georgia Department of Transportation is funding all the airports that do not have commercial service at 5%, but the commercial service airports such as Valdosta, they're only funding at 2.5%. So we'd like to seek support for that. At the state level, we're going from 2.5% to 5% for the GDOT budget on the aviation programs, and then also support at the federal level for going back from 90% back to 95% for FAA grant funding. So those are two of the three. The third doesn't matter really. Today the voters are going to decide if they want T-SPLOST or not. We have put in two projects on throughout the Roundtable Committee for airport projects, one being a new general aviation terminal and the other being a new control tower. Both of these are in one facility that was built in 1948, and while they've served us well, they're beyond their useful life. And we have a partnership with a company called Advanced Air Traffic Control, who also partners with Wiregrass Technical College, where we actually train air traffic control tower operators. They do their ground school and simulator work at Wiregrass, and then when they come out to the tower to do live traffic, they do it right here in Valdosta, Georgia. They come from all over the country. So it would be a benefit to both. What we'd like to do, if we had to prioritize those two projects, is that we'd like to get a new control tower, because we feel a control tower is not a revenue generating thing, it's a safety enhancement. And there's some companies that came here. I know that Martin's Bakery, that was one of their requirements when they came, they wanted to control the airfield to locate their bakery. And so what we have done is we have written a letter to both the chairman of the county commission and the mayor seeking support for a control tower project to be funded should T-SPLOST pass out of the 25% funds that remain here in our local area, as neither of the projects made the constrained list at the 75% level. So we would seek your support for the 90% going to 95 of the FAA, 2.5 going to 5 of the state for the aviation programs, and your support that should T-SPLOST pass, that would support a project for the airport and the means of the new control tower.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions of Jim? Good report. I can see